One of my favorite VR games is Rec Room. It's a game where you can hang out with people and play a bunch of different games, or even create your own games and worlds. But recently it got an update allowing people to play the game without VR. So the real question is, does the game hold up without VR? One major difference I instantly found is that the game is now in third person, unlike the VR version being in first person. This gave the game an entirely different feel, and soon after that I checked out the different games to really test it out. Once I got into a minigame, I started to find issues with the game. When I went into a quest that involves you fighting robots with guns, it almost instantly felt harder than normal, as with some of the cover I could barely hide behind it. I believe that because this quest was built for VR, that the translation over to flat screen wasn't too good, because in the VR mode, you can play in a lot of ways that the non-VR player can't. Because the non-VR player can only crouch down a little bit, while the VR player can get as close to the floor as they want to. Another example is as the VR player, I could reach my gun far out and not have to move my entire body like the flat screen version. I feel like the flat screen players will have a disadvantage when compared to the VR players, but I don't really think the developers can do much to make that more fair. It took a few tries to get better and I started to get the hang of it, but even then I didn't get very far in the minigame, and I had to be a lot more cautious than normal. But for some of the minigames you won't have to worry about that problem, like disc golf or charades. But everything outside of the minigames seemed to be just fine. You can do gestures and grab every single object you can find. So overall, Rec Room without VR is decent. It seems to have lost a lot of the fun factor when playing without VR, and the only reason I would recommend this is if you don't have VR and really want to try this game out, which is probably why they made this in the first place.